won't go into detail, but a therapist friend of mine had a 75-year-old woman who was distraught for nearly a year because her 50-year-old son had committed suicide. And she asked me if I would, with Zoom, meet this woman and try this technique with her. This was a couple of years ago. And I did. And the first time, and she described for me that her son had been bipolar and had tried every medication he could, tried every therapy he could, but COVID time had really isolated him. And she loved him so much. He never told her that he was going to do this, but he had planned on it because he had a nitrogen tank that he used that they later found the wrapping, the box that it came in, he had that for a couple of years. He did it in a very clean way with a note on the door. She never saw the body at all or the paraphernalia that went with his death. But she was so visual, like you, Trout, she pictured herself watching him at the last moments of his life when he turned the valve on the nitrogen and died all alone. And that was a recurring, intrusive visual image. She said, I have it every morning when I wake up and it just kills me. She said, I cry all the time. I've just been destroyed by this. We did this one time. It sounds like snake oil salesman here, but it made a transformation for her. And I had follow-up with her. She even made an audio for me that's going to be in the PowerPoint that you'll be able to listen to if you'd like. She said, doing that one simple flash type thing, suddenly I had access to the 50 years of memories and visuals that I had with him. It wasn't defined by that last moment. And she herself, a year after we did this work, by the way, she said, my friends say, something has changed, you're happy again. She said, I know, I'll see him again someday. She had a religious background, thinking of heaven. But she died a year after that. So I'm so grateful that her therapist friend knew enough to send her my way and that I was lucky enough to run into this technique way back when. I've had several of these kind of situations where a very powerful impact on people, and so you can see in such a short time. I even used it with a fellow who I mentioned to him. He wasn't in therapy with me. He was coming to find out some other referrals. I told him, oh, we have this technique. It's kind of interesting. In fact, you don't even have to tell the therapist what it is you're working on. And he said, what? And I said, no, you don't have to say what it is as long as, you know what it is. And he said, wow, I've had 15 years of therapy with 3 different psychiatrists. I never told them one thing that happened in my life. I'll never tell anybody. It was so horrible. It was bad. I'll never tell anybody. I said, yeah, well, you want to try the technique? You don't have to tell me. And we did it. 2 weeks later, he came back and he said, I want to tell you what it was, which most of us can understand. That meant it was much less gripping on him. So just another little moment with the flash technique. Anyone